Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And today is Friday, which means that it is my Dear Peter series. And on Fridays, I respond to emails that you guys have sent me. The email is listed below if you would like to send me an email and ask for some advice. I typically pick topics that aren't super serious. If you're seeking some kind of professional or expert advice, this is not that. This is just advice based on my own learning experiences in my life, things that I've gone through, things that I've helped my friends go through, and they've helped me go through, stuff like that. So, things I've learned in recovery, on and on and on. So I try to go in and pick topics that I would say are not things that are requiring professional help, if that makes sense. So I wanted to read this email that I received to you. Now, I kind of just skimmed over it, and I wanted to do something different today. I wanted to read the email and then give you my immediate response, instead of reading it and kind of preparing for that. So it would feel almost more like a conversation that I would be having with my best friend in the car, if that makes sense, right? Because my best friend Tanya and I, we drive around several nights of the week and we solve the world's problems. We joke about that, We'll sit there and we have these deep conversations about things that we're going through, and we'll, share things with each other and try to help the other person out. And then at the end of it, I'll be like, well, we solved the world's problems, So that's kind of what I want to do today. I got this email from somebody. I don't know if she wants to stay anonymous or not, so I'm going to keep it anonymous. And she said, I wanted to ask you about regret. As I'm sending you this email, I'm packing to move out of my parents' house to live on my own. I tried college for a year and a half and decided that it just wasn't for me and that I was wasting my time and my parents' money. I wasn't a terrible daughter, but I wasn't a gold star child either. I had my moments where I could be really nasty and take everything I have for granted. It's only now that I've realized how blessed I've been in life. I have the best parents in the world. They give me advice and love me unconditionally, but they also let me make my own decisions and make my own mistakes. They've been so supportive of me all of my life, and only come to realize this in the last couple of months. The last 8 months that I've been home from college have been spent living with my parents. All of my other friends have moved away from our small hometown, and I am, for the most part, alone. And so my parents have been my best friends for these last 8 months. I wish I would have realized how amazing my parents are when I was younger. My dad is 61 and my mom is 57. The idea that I will someday be without them is unimaginable, and it makes me really regret the times I was a total shithead to them. I wish I could turn back the clock and realize how important family is and savor every moment I had with them. I just feel so weighed down with regret and guilt that I feel like I can't be excited about this new chapter in my life. I know my parents would say that it's normal for parents to have to deal with their child being a shit sometimes, but my parents deserved a child that treated them like gold. But the biggest thing I feel guilty about is going to college. I wasted so much of my father's money on my wasted college experience, and there is no way I can give that money back to him. And I know that it'll put my father in a more difficult financial situation for a few years to come. I guess what I'm asking you is, how do you deal with feelings of guilt and regret when it comes to your past and things you've done that you can't change? With your history of addiction and recovery, I feel like you could give some outstanding advice that could really help me and others out there who are dealing with these feelings. She said, wow, this email is all over the place. It's more stream of consciousness style than well thought out story style. That's okay, I love these. I love this series and I found it very helpful and insightful. Be sure to tell Alex and I said hi, and give all of your pooches a smooch from me. So, since Boo Radley is right here, I'll give him a little smooch for you. What do you think, honey? He said, that's a deep one, Dad. Okay, so let's get into this. I think it's actually a really good question, And I think, first of all, we've all been a shit to our parents. We've all been a shit to our friends and our family at time. And, I think, and I say this in all my videos, we have to kind of rise above that sometimes and give ourselves a break, and say, listen, I want to be a better person. And this is what I hear you saying in the message. I have regret because of what I did in the past, but I don't want to be that person today. So let me address kind of the situation with the parents first, because I think that that's really easily resolved. But the hard part is going to be on your end, not on theirs. And what I would suggest is sitting down with your parents and having the conversation that you just had with me in the email. In fact, maybe sitting down with them and reading them the email and say, I reached out to this guy, he's a YouTuber, he gives advice sometimes, but I want you guys to hear it from me, and I have a lot of regret and I have a lot of guilt over this. What can I do to make it right? Because it's not just about, when we talk about cleaning up the wreckage of our past, it's not just about saying I'm sorry, like, you know, I've talked about on here before, that saying I'm sorry to my father meant forget what I just did. It's about cleaning up the wreckage of our past and really doing things different. You know, maybe saying to your dad, like, I have cost you a lot of money with my college that I never finished and all this kind of stuff. What can I do to make that right? Could I maybe give you a certain amount of money? Could we make a deal where I start paying you a little bit every week, like $5 or $10 or even just $10 a month or something that I can afford right now? The action of paying somebody, Bradley is back here digging into the couch. The action of paying somebody back, and I was talking about this in a vlog not too long ago with my father, because my father wouldn't allow me to do that for a long time, paying him back for the treatments and things like that I went through. The action of paying for your debt is really empowering, because what happens, even if you're just making a payment of $1 a week or $5 a week or whatever you're doing, you're working that down a little bit, and then it's your responsibility. It's not theirs, because it's this, you're doing action. You're putting action to your words, right? So it's not just saying I'm sorry and I feel guilty. It's actually putting action to clean up the wreckage of your past. Do that, right? Don't be a shit daughter to your parents. When you are, own it in the moment and move on. And it sounds to me like you have wonderful parents that are going to look at you and say, don't even worry about this. Like, why do you even worry about it, right? So when they say to you, don't worry about it, say, well, it weighs heavy on me. So, number one, I want to make some financial amends. I want to start helping out with the college. Trust me, even if it takes you 20 or 30 years to pay this off, or, you know, like they're long gone before you ever pay it off, the action of paying it off will make you feel better. Even if it's just $5 a week. Even if they're giving you money and helping you out right now, while you're giving them the $5, it will make you feel better. Trust me, okay? The second part of that is say, you know, I feel guilty for my past behaviors. What are things that I can do? What's something that I can do that would make that better for you? And if they say, oh, no, don't worry about it. You know, you're a different person today. Say, no. I want some action. So what is it? Is it that if I just continue to live a right life? If it's like, you know, what can I do? And let me see if they say, well, you need to go back to college and finish college. I'd say, you know, that's not an option for me right now. I decided against college. You know, this is how I'm choosing to live my life. But within the boundaries that I've set for myself, what can I do so that I can repair this, on at least so that I feel like I'm repairing it? And let them think about it. Maybe they need a day. Maybe they need a week, you know, and then let them come up with some things. You know, well, we'd like you to be here for more family things. Or, you know, like, we just want to talk about the things that have happened in the past and just get them out. I think that one thing that you have on your side that you should be very, very grateful for is that you have, sounds like, amazing parents that are really willing to sit there and be there for you, which means they'll be there for the conversation as well. These are difficult conversations we have to have with people. Sometimes those most difficult conversations we have with people in life are the ones that fix the most things for us. My mom and I had a very similar conversation at the end of her life, and I've talked about this. You know, my mom talked to me about a lot of regrets that she had as a mother to me as an alcoholic, and I talked to her about a lot of regrets that I had, you know, as an alcoholic addict son. Not only that, but behaviors that I had, you know, done through the years, you know, and not been present for things, not been, you know, there for her always, and she said some of those things in return. At the end, she looked at me and she said, you know, when you look back on your life, it's not the things that you did that you regret. It's the things you never did that you regret. And, you know, or I think she said the things you never tried that you regret. And I think that's a powerful statement. You know, when you look back on your life, it's not the things you did that you regret. It's the things you never tried. Try something different. You know, it sounds to me like you're trying to be a better daughter. It sounds to me like you're being a best friend to your parents. It sounds to me like you're being supportive of them and you're being the daughter they want you to be. Try something different. Have an honest conversation with them. I really struggle sometimes, and maybe this is just because this is the condition that I live my life with. I mean, anybody in my life knows, okay? If we're having a disagreement, you're about to get a phone call. Like, we're going to sit down and have this conversation. Maybe not that day. Maybe they're not ready for it. Maybe I'm not. But we're going to talk this out. We're human beings. You know, we're close. There's no reason why we need to allow this to be a problem for us. You know, the only time that I've ever had friends where we've kind of gone our separate ways is because I have tried over and over and over again to have that conversation, and they just weren't willing to have it, if that makes sense. And at some point, you have to let people go and just say, well, if they're not really willing to have the conversation, I've done the best that I can, and I have to move on at this point, you know? But with your parents, it sounds like they're really willing to have that conversation. For everybody else out there watching this video, you know, if there are people that you feel guilty with about past behaviors, reach out to them. Say, I'd like to make this right. I'd like to talk to you. You don't have to be in a 12-step program to make amends to somebody, okay? That can be a behavior that you learn in your everyday life. You take responsibility for what you did. You explain what you did. You apologize for it and not just say, I'm sorry, but say, listen, I feel horrible for what I did. I realize how it impacted your life. Are there things you want to tell me about that moment, like how it affected you? And then ask them, how can I make this right? How can I make this better for us, you know, as we move forward? You don't have to be in a 12-step program to make amends. Anybody can do that. I think we need to be having more honest conversations with those people in our lives. You know, not all the time, not over every issue, right? It doesn't have to be. But on situations like this where guilt is weighing heavy on you, I think that it's appropriate to sit down and have a conversation and say, I just need to get this out and let you guys know how I feel about it. And you know, if they say to you, don't even worry about it, then you have to allow them to live in that and move on and give them what they want. Don't even worry about it. I love you guys. If you would like me to respond to one of your advice questions, leave it in the comment section below. I respond every Friday to the emails that I get, and I go through and I pick them out. And if I don't respond to you guys, I'm really sorry. I have them all like categorized in a folder under Dear Peter, so I'm doing my best to get to them when I do. So I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.